Friday. I am sitting here because I have so much I want to say. I just left my uncle, Paul Terry's funeral. He's my uncle cousin, my cousin uncle. I mean, he's actually my cousin, but I called him Uncle Paul. And he was 74, just shy of 74 years old, and lived a very, very full life. It was humbling to hear other people recap a life well lived. My uncle was a good man. He was a good person. Reflecting on a life well lived is humbling and it's sad, but at the same token, you realize, or you get a glimpse of what life is supposed to be. When we each rule ourselves, when we each understand what we're here to do, and no matter how neat it is not, we rule ourselves. See, the trick comes in when other people don't manage their own selves, when other people don't know who they are, when other people are lacking self-awareness, and every way that that means. This isn't my fight. Trayvon Martin is not my fight. George Zimmerman is not my fight. And yet I'm here, sitting in front of this camera, trying to find a seedling of understanding of how stuff like this happens. How people can be so lost, can be so without soul, because that's what it takes. That's what it takes to take another human being's life who is not a threat to you. And even if they are, to take another human being's life without the slightest bit of thought in your actions. You believe in your soul that what you're doing is the right thing. And so there's that contrast for me. You have a just shy of 74-year-old man who lived a full life, a black man who was a pillar in his community, who did everything right. Meanwhile, a little boy, a 17-year-old boy, will not get to see the age 74. He will not get to see other people saying, wow, that was a life well lived. He won't get what my Uncle Paul got, because he's a black boy. So now you have Trayvon Martin, who's 17 years old. He's a baby. He's a boy. And the only thing he was doing was existing. The only thing that he did wrong was walk home from the store All-Star Weekend with some Skittles and an iced tea. That's all he did. And then you have George Zimmerman. You got these fools. Fools fighting for their last little ounce of manhood. I'm so mad. I'm so mad because there are so many young black boys, young white boys, young Hispanic boys. There's so many young people who are being run amok and led astray. So many. so many fools running the world. There are so many fools dictating behaviors. They're just wrong. Just wrong. And y'all don't have a clue. Trayvon Martin should not have died. He should not have been killed. It's this propaganda, this war on spirit that has nothing to do with your religion. There are people around the world slaughtered, worse than we treat our animals. And for some reason, it's okay. I left a funeral where a man got to live a full life. A black man got to live a full life. And even though it was tragic that he couldn't remember the last maybe 2-3 years, he still got to live. And there are so many young people who don't have that opportunity. And we're the grown-ups that are teaching them. We're the grown-ups that are showing them. And it's not just Trayvon Martin. You know, I've been looking and watching all of these people over the course of years, the course of my entire life, and then going back and looking at history and historical milestones. And I have watched human beings treat other human beings horribly. And we don't get it. We demonize other human beings, not based on what they did or who they are, but based on the most trivial, superficial things we can think of. Things that we would not allow or stand for if it were to happen to us. If we were to put ourselves in those people's shoes, oh, hell no. It wouldn't be happening. We wouldn't stand for it. Hoorah. But we do it. And I just don't understand. Maybe I'm not meant to understand. Clearly I'm upset. I'm upset for a lot of reasons. I'm upset because on one hand, you have people who feel so helpless. Just their lives are just so disheveled, so lost. They are so helpless that they feel that the only way that they can matter is by putting themselves above other people. You have George Zimmerman, who clearly was disillusioned and lost enough that he took another person's life, a little boy's life, didn't even think. And you have to believe that he believed whatever he was going through at that time, right before he killed Trayvon, you have to believe that he believed it was real. And yeah, that's a form of mental illness. Like, he honestly believed he was doing the right thing. He honestly believed his life was in danger by a bag of Skittles and an iced tea. And that he was absolutely 100 million% justified in shooting that little boy. And you have to believe that Chief Bill Lee believed 100 million% that he was doing the right thing and sending George Zimmerman off, and it was self-defense. Oh yes, it was. You have to believe that all of these people really believe what they believe, and it makes sense for them. And then you also have to come to the understanding that there are so many people that are so far fucked up that there may not be any hope for them. And I find it hilarious that there are people who will vehemently deny that it has anything to do with race. This hurts me to my soul, as it should hurt all of you. What is wrong with y'all? What is wrong with y'all? The science is in. We're all the same. Just some people get tans and some people don't. Underneath the skin, we're all the same. And yet, you still find your way up to a high horse that you created that is a straw man argument based entirely on the perpetuation of your ignorance. And that's all it is. You remain ignorant because you want to be. You choose to be. You feel so low. You feel so useless. You feel so pointless. You don't understand who you are so much that you believe you are greater than someone who is your equal. Your equal human being. And that's a shame. It's a shame that you hold on to these things. It's a shame, even further, that you still use the guises of God to temper your ego, which is the exact opposite of God. Isn't that something? I'm sorry, Trayvon. I'm sorry, so many colored little boys and girls who have to live in a world where human beings don't value your life, your lives. I'm sorry. And I guess this is one of those moments where you understand where the rejoicing comes when people die who've lived a full life. They're free. While we yet breathe and have to deal with other people's retardation that they call reason. It's a shame. You're all crazy. You're insane. You're insane. Why should I feel discouraged? And why should the shadows come? Why should my heart feel lonely? Oh Lord, for heaven and home. When Jesus is my portion, a constant friend is He. His eye is on the sparrow, so I know that He watches me.